Every single thought you have, you can follow it up by the question, are you sure? And if we're ever in a meeting together, you'll probably hear me say that a lot. Ask that question a lot. Because I'm super curious to everything I assume, everything that is happening. Because when something is happening, your mind immediately assumes something about it. Be curious to that. Are you sure? Are you sure that is how it is? Just ask questions about it. Be curious about it. Are you sure? So I would like to circle back to what I just talked about with childhood trauma. The only way to deal with trauma is through. You have to go through it. You can't circle around it. You can't just, hope for it to dissolve itself. The only way is through. And it's safe to do it. There's nothing, obviously, if you feel that you need help, then get help, obviously. But it's safe to work with it. It's safe to look at it. It's not happening anymore. Careful with what I'm saying now. What you thought happened. Be curious to if it really happened. And if you have the feeling, yes, but I was beaten. Yes, I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning everything around it. Your assumptions about you being beaten. Yes, I know your body was beaten, but was it because of the person you were? You probably assumed that. But if you hadn't been there, a violent parent is a violent parent. It's not about the child, ever. It's about the parent, the person being violent. It wasn't about you at all. Are you aware of that? Do you know that? That it wasn't about you. It wasn't about you. It was the parent or the person being violent. If you hadn't been there, somebody else would have been there, and the exact same thing would have happened towards that person, because it wasn't about you. It was never about you. And to really become aware of that, to really feel that the entire personality you shaped on that assumption that it was about you and it was your fault. That needs space, and it needs compassion and a lot of love. Just like the trauma would not be there if it had been met with compassion and space and love and kindness. If whatever happened at the moment had been met with that, there wouldn't be a trauma. And that's why the only way to deal with trauma is to do that. Be compassionate. Be kind towards yourself. And when you get small hints that there is a trauma somewhere, it's usually when you're not nice towards yourself, when you call yourself clumsy or say idiot when you do something, when you go like, oh, no, not again, when you do something, when you get short-tempered about something you have done or something you haven't done, frustrated about that you're procrastinating. That is a sign of a trauma. Because who's saying that? Who has an opinion about you should being different than who you are? Who's assuming that? Clearly it's something you've been taught. Just like the language you speak was taught. Clearly. And the words you're using in your language is very indicative of what you came from, where you came from, of who influenced you. And that needs curiosity. And before I get bombarded in the comment section about, but there is no me, there is no past, I am very aware. I know. This is the first Fetter. We are on stage 1, And if you sit and have, if you have the awareness that there's no you, and there's no trauma, and there's no past, and there's no any of that, and you think it's silly for me to spend time talking about this, then I would like for you to remember how it was to be you before you became awake. All the pain, all the searching, all the struggles, all the anxiety and depression, all of that. Have compassion with the part of you that was there then. And then it's very easy to feel compassion towards the people that are there now. And since you know how it is to be awake, then a sign that you do know that, how it is displayed in your compassion towards the people that haven't seen through self yet. So before you go to the keyboard and write a comment in the comment section about having the thought of I'm so much more than this, of having thoughts about it's okay, I'm here. Before you start to comment on that, could you please be compassionate towards yourself? Because I'm sitting and telling you that you are deluded. You're deluded. If you think that it needs to be said, what you already know, it's only because you really don't know it. You're not there yet. And I have an exercise for you in a minute. Yeah. So be compassionate. Be kind to whatever comes up.